God bless you, Santa Fe First Baptist Church. Thank you for the privilege to be here on screen to talk with you today about how we began the deaf ministry and some parts of my life as well.
When did you become a member of First Baptist Church Santa Fe?
My husband and I joined Santa Fe First Baptist Church in the spring of 2000.
What or who influenced you to make the decision to become a member?
Well, we were serving at Glorietta at the time as volunteers, and friends, new friends, Ernest and Billy Sue Easley, who is, by the way, the daughter and the son-in-law of your pastor, Charles Boswell, had invited us to come and go into David Petty's Sunday school class. We did. He was surprised because we didn't know that he had the senior adult Sunday school class, because he did say to us, "I don't think this class is going to be the right one for you."
You have done so much with your special ministry to the deaf. Can you explain to me how you helped expand the deaf ministry beyond First Baptist Church Santa Fe?
We started the deaf ministry here at Santa Fe First, and this was the third one. Actually, the very first one was in our hometown in Easley, South Carolina. Deaf ministry began there. I had a divine appointment with Jesus Christ, who called me to begin work with the deaf. My parents were deaf, and I had been a voice for them in all of their life's needs. And the pastor at the church said, "You need to start a deaf ministry," which we did after that encounter with Jesus. That church, Ariel Baptist Church, started 22 deaf ministries across the state. Deaf teams were trained to do that, and we went out together as teams. Then we moved to North Carolina because God sent us there. And also my husband had taken a job with the Ridgecrest Baptist Conference Center as the facilities manager. And we both worked together with the deaf, mostly me because I'm the signer. We started work at Ridgecrest Baptist Church. From there, we began to go out and start work in other churches. Then it came time that God was ready because we had trained the deaf people, we had trained interpreters, and now God was sending us somewhere else, and that was to New Mexico, to begin work here in the northern part of New Mexico. We came to this church, and when we joined the church, we set up an appointment to talk with your pastor, admin team, and then they agreed that they wanted to have the deaf ministry here. Deaf people began to come after it was established. And I remember Gary Chapman, such a fine young man, moved here from California and joined the church. Other deaf people began to come. We taught Sunday school, Bible study on Wednesday nights. We had special meetings and training meetings. We also began to go to the State Deaf Conference. We went to SBCD National Conference, and the new Christians were meeting other deaf people because they would say, "I'm only one Christian in my town or community." Now they were seeing hundreds, 200s, 300s of deaf people coming together to study, to learn, and to do work for Jesus around the United States. So we began to expand, and then we began to start deaf ministries in different places. This church helped to start, through the deaf teams, there were four or five deaf ministries begun that have continued. And then this team, having talked with one of the pastors who came from another state to help with simultaneous revivals, wanted to stay here. and become a pastor of the first deaf church in New Mexico with a deaf congregation. So that was a joy. Then, as that all began to work, deaf leaders became leaders in other areas as well. Aaron enrolled in Golden Gate Seminary. He became the missionary. When Olin and I retired, he and his wife, Leslie, became the missionaries to the deaf in Santa Fe and then out in the state.
Were you involved in other ministries while a member of First Baptist Church Santa Fe?
Yes, I was involved with WMU at First Baptist Church Santa Fe, and enjoyed that part of my personal work with hearing women. Enjoyed that. The deaf women, we tried to get them into WMU, but they had so many other things that they were doing. They did not have the time. But anyway, I also led conferences and taught Bible studies. I wrote lessons for the deaf for Lifeway. And so there were many things to be involved in.
In the last 100 years, how do you see God's purpose fulfilled in First Baptist Church Santa Fe?
When I was here and I was involved with the church, and you all were involved, you loved the children and youth and adult work, I could see that you all had been faithful. All through the years, you have been faithful to keep focus that God sent Jesus to us as a missionary, and you've been on mission for 100 years.
What are your hopes for First Baptist Church Santa Fe in the next 100 years?
That's a good question. I guess we could go back to the Great Commission. It has not been accomplished yet. And you remember in Matthew 24, the Bible said, God said, that when that is accomplished and everyone has heard the gospel, then he comes. Has not been accomplished. So we have another 100 years to go, and I pray that when you think of 30,000 people groups who do not know Jesus Christ, that's 51 million people yet to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. So we will work until Jesus comes.